Imagine if time suddenly stopped. Everything freezes, clocks, people, even the movement of the stars in the sky. It sounds impossible, right? But believe it or not, there are places in the universe where time doesn't work like it does here on Earth. In those places, time either slows down or almost seems to stop. Today, we're going to explore those mysterious places and try to understand what's happening there. Please subscribe and watch till end. 1. Black holes. Our first stop is one of the most mysterious and terrifying objects in the universe. Black holes are like giant cosmic vacuums that suck in everything near them. They're formed when a massive star collapses under its own gravity, creating a point in space with so much gravity that nothing, not even light, can escape. But there's something even stranger about black holes. They affect time. Now, imagine you're floating in space, far away from a black hole. Everything feels normal. You can see the stars around you, and time is moving forward as usual. But as you start moving closer to the black hole, something strange happens. Time around you begins to slow down. It doesn't feel any different to you. You're still breathing, your heart is still beating, and you can still think normally. But if someone far away from the black hole was watching you, they would notice that you're moving slower and slower, almost like you're stuck in slow motion. This gets even weirder the closer you get to the black hole. There's a point called the event horizon. This is the edge of the black hole, the point of no return. Once you cross the event horizon, you can't escape, no matter how fast you try to move. But what's really strange is that time seems to stop here. If someone was watching you from far away, they would see you freeze in place right at the event horizon. To them, it would look like you're stuck there forever, never quite falling into the black hole. Inside the event horizon, we have no idea what happens. Some scientists believe time might stop completely. Others think time might not even exist inside a black hole the way we understand it. It's one of the greatest mysteries in science. What we do know is that near a black hole, time slows down to an extreme degree, making it one of the strangest places in the universe. 2. The edge of the universe. Next, let's travel to the farthest reaches of the universe. You see, the universe is expanding. Every day, galaxies are moving farther away from each other, carried by the stretching of space itself. It's like dots on a balloon that spread out as the balloon inflates. But here's where things get really interesting. The farther away something is, the faster it's moving away from us. At the very edge of the observable universe, about 13.8 billion light-years away, galaxies are moving away from us so fast that light from them is stretched into longer and longer wavelengths. This is what scientists call the redshift. The faster a galaxy moves away from us, the more its light shifts toward the red part of the spectrum. But it's not just light that gets stretched. Time does too. Imagine standing on the edge of the universe, looking back at Earth. What you would see is shocking. Time back on Earth would seem to fly by in an instant. Days, months, and even years would pass in the blink of an eye. But where you are, time would slow down to almost nothing. It would feel like time is barely moving at all. At the edge of the universe, time stretches to the point where it almost freezes. From our perspective, it might look like galaxies out there are moving in slow motion, but in reality, they're moving away so fast that time itself is behaving in a way we don't fully understand. As the universe continues to expand, will time at the edge of the universe eventually stop? Will there be a point where time simply can't keep up with the expansion anymore? These are questions scientists are still trying to figure out. But one thing is clear. At the farthest edges of space, time behaves in ways we can barely imagine. 3. Quantum world. Now, we're going to shrink down to one of the tiniest parts of the universe, the quantum world. This is the world inside atoms, smaller than anything we can see with our eyes. It's the world of particles that make up everything around us. Your body, the air you breathe, the screen you're looking at right now. And here, time acts in ways that are even more confusing. In the quantum world, the rules of time seem to break down. Particles can be in two places at once, or they can appear and disappear in an instant. It's almost like time doesn't exist for them in the same way it does for us. Think of a particle like a tiny spark of light that flashes on and off. But unlike a regular light, this particle doesn't follow any set pattern. Sometimes it might flash for a long time. Sometimes it disappears and reappears almost immediately. It's as if time is random here, completely unpredictable. Some scientists even believe that time might not exist in the quantum world at all. It might just be something we experience on a larger scale, like on Earth or in space. But in the tiny world of particles, time could be meaningless. Imagine being able to shrink down to the size of a particle. You would see particles bouncing around, flashing in and out of existence, not following any kind of schedule or order. It's a chaotic world where time feels completely broken. It's hard to understand, but it shows us that time isn't as simple as we once thought. In the quantum world, time might not be the steady, reliable thing we experience every day. 4. Time stop. After exploring some of the strangest places in the universe, black holes, the edge of the universe, and the quantum world, it's natural to ask one big question. Does time really stop? It's an idea that seems impossible at first. Time is something that we rely on, something that never stops ticking in our everyday lives. It feels steady, constant, and unstoppable. But when we look deeper into the universe, we start to see that time might not work the way we think it does. So let's break down this question and explore whether time ever truly stops. What does it mean for time to stop? To answer this question, we first need to understand what it really means for time to stop. On Earth, time is something we measure by the ticking of a clock or the movement of the sun across the sky. We know that time is always moving forward. Seconds become minutes, minutes become hours, and hours become days. It feels like an unstoppable flow, and we never see it slow down, let alone stop completely. But in space, especially near extreme objects like black holes, time behaves very differently. Time becomes something more flexible, more influenced by gravity, and less predictable than what we experience in our daily lives. When we say that time stops, we're talking about a situation where time moves so slowly that it feels like it's frozen, or a place where the flow of time is reduced to almost nothing. It's a bit like watching a video in super slow motion. Everything is still moving, but so slowly that it seems to have paused. But here's the thing. We don't really know what time is. Sure, we can measure it with clocks and calendars, but those are just tools. Time itself, what it really is and how it works, is still one of the biggest questions in science. Some scientists think time might not even be real. They suggest it could be something humans invented to keep track of change, like the movement of the Earth around the sun or the beating of our hearts. If that's the case, maybe time is just an illusion. Maybe it's something we experience because of the way our brains work, not because it's a fundamental part of the universe. On the other hand, there are scientists who believe that time is very real, and that in certain places, like inside a black hole, time might stop altogether. This idea, that there are places in the universe where time could completely freeze, challenges everything we thought we knew about how the universe works. If time can stop, what does that mean for us? Could time stop for us too in some way? In the end, we don't have all the answers yet, but one thing is clear. Time is not what we thought it was. It's a mystery, waiting to be solved. And maybe, just maybe, one day we'll find out exactly where and how time really stops.